We've actually got woodworm in the skirting.
We're Jess and Dan, and together we've bought a semi-falling down farm in Scotland, and we're documenting the whole process of putting it all back together again into a family home with you guys. So if you never want to miss an update, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. But for now, let's see what we got up to this time. You might remember this video. This was on Instagram stories, and essentially I disappeared and Dan had a meltdown. So to go through this and to catch you guys all up, we need to go backwards. We've been off, away, see you
on our jollies.
Off on our jollies. It started mid-April when we went to do our annual MTOG retreat in the Lake District, and that was 1 week that we were away. Now we are going to circle back further than that, but this isn't when Dan had a meltdown, because Dan was actually with us at this point. Amazing retreat, and that was great. So, and then I fly again tomorrow morning, so then I'm going to be gone for about 3 weeks, so leaving Dan to go to Australia to work over there for a bit. And therefore I headed off to Aussie land to go play with the kangaroos and an amazing group of people to teach over there as well. And this is where the important part came in, because what happened when I was away is I prepared a video for Dan to set up and release, and then he was going to carry on and give you guys updates. However, that did not happen, and therefore we will circle back round to exactly where we were before all of this happened, rewinding again to here. So I want to take you to the cottage because that's where most stuff happened. Now I've not shown you inside, but for a lay of the land, this is the downstairs. We're going to be focusing in the living room and also looking upstairs into bedroom 1. Dan's here to help explain what he's doing. So Dan, do you want to take it away?
So this is the first of the bedrooms that we started to prep. On this wall there was some shot plaster, and on further investigation it was just the majority of it was gone, so the easiest thing to do was to take it all off back to what was behind it, which as you can see has a nice key left on it by the previous owners, tenants. And then I just carried on prepping the rest of the walls. There was some more shot plaster in the top corner there, and then a delivery came. We have a new toy. So yes, we already have a Hoover. However, that Hoover is not really supposed to be hoovering up the amounts of dust that we are creating. So I've purchased a more industrial type Hoover. I've also got a lovely little attachment that's due to come today that'll attach this to my sander. Nice and shiny, isn't it? Then I put the Hoover together and then gave it its first test run, which I was very impressed with, and then continued to empty the room to give me some more work.
Jesus, Dan. Just because it's in fast mode, Dan, doesn't mean that you have to talk at 4,000 miles an hour. When it's on like a slow speed, you talk slow. When it goes faster, you talk faster.
So then I was using the Hoover for the first time with the sander, which I was very impressed with, and prepping the walls ready to paint, getting rid of all the crap that was left on them from like wallpaper paste and things. I'm just ripping out, well, I've cut the edge of the carpet and I'm just taking out the underlay so I can then take up the carpet grippers so that I can sand the skirting without ripping my fingers to shreds. And it's fine lifting the carpet grippers up because we're looking at putting a hard flooring down in here, so it's not going to be needed for carpet.
Why not replacing skirting board with nicer skirting board?
Budget.
Awesome. Off he goes with his sanding. In all fairness, we did end up taking half the skirting board off, but my mum came round with my stepdad and therefore we set to work upstairs. So we're in bedroom 1 that we talked about at the beginning, but the lads downstairs are cracking on with that bigger project that is the living room. So it's time to circle back and see what they've found. So Mark thought he found a bit of damp skirting in the corner after we'd taken it off while Mark was outside seeing where the damp ingress was coming from. We've actually got woodworm in the skirting. Don't chuck on the floor, please. It's going to get hoovered, I'll chuck it at you. So just going to take off all this, well, take off the skirting around, which we've done to the point where there's no woodworm. Found a bit of blown plaster, so that's come off. That'll require being touched up with my capable hands. And take off the architrave around that door. Seems like that door is probably going to get filled in anyway. So yeah, bit of woodworm, but at least it's woodworm and not damp. And we've got woodworm treatment stuff.
We've got woodworm treatment stuff, so all's good.
Tip, tap, tap, and then bang, the whole wall fell off. But never mind, it gives us a solid base to commence from. So we just added that to Dan's plastering list for later on. We have just had, honestly, the most loveliest family arrive. And they've given us gifts. I mean, the fact that everybody watches the videos just make me a little bit nervous. Because you are so rude. Dan, can you just talk us through what the sitch is with this cupboard?
So this cupboard that you can see that did previously open up into the lounge is just in the way a little bit, meaning we can't put any decent sized sofas or anything against that wall. So we're just going to block that up with some fake wall after spraying the area for woodworm. So I'll just let this play through and basically watch me make the wall. So with the plasterboard fixed into place, it's now time to tape the joints ready for plastering. This was the first time I've actually plastered by myself, so it was a test for me.
Stiff mix that. Carry on.
You can't.
Carry on, look, we're missing it all.
You weren't missing me, it took ages to do that.
It looked really good at the end, though.
It did. It was the first time I've done it, and it wasn't the most straightforward wall.
Then we went and left it to dry, didn't we? Because we had to go off to the retreat.
We did.
And that's what brings us back to that point, until I came home with Gina. Oh my goodness. Oh. We have to go and get him. Here we go.
I was wondering what that thing was.
This is Elon.
I was like, is it a satellite dish?
It is a satellite dish.
This is quite the ordeal. Well, this is internet in the sticks. Where you don't have any internet. Did you name it, or did Dan?
It's Elon.
I don't know what that is.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, and then just use the select options for your auto times or on 24/7. Once means it'll stay on for 12 hours from the moment you turn it on.
That was the moment that we first turned the central heating system on in the cottage. So super exciting time. Amazing heating engineers that came and assisted for this, did all the install and have the boiler all up and running and working. It's been amazing to have some heat in. However,
just trying to get my office set back up, and although this part is fine, I'm struggling a bit, you guys, because the radiator, the actual one, this one, is so freaking effective. I'm melting. I've already turned her down. She's already down to a 3, so we might actually have to go all the way to 1 or off before this is going to be like a doable room. I'm so glad that it's warm, but I'm just not prepared for it. I'm not built for this, so we can turn these ones down as well. Let's do it. Let's do a 2. I don't really, this is not a finished look.
and so with that whistle-stop tour, we're at the point where I left for Australia. So let's circle back and see everything that Dan did since I left.